Good morning, friends. Today we have a very exciting project that we are going to do here at the Garden Center. I am so stinking excited about this. Every time I tell one of our staff members about this project, they go, "Ooh, that sounds fantastic." So you're going to come along for the ride with us today. Fun project here at the Garden Center. So those of you that are faithful viewers of Creekside Nursery and Gardening with Creekside, you may remember that we installed this pergola here at the Garden Center up on our shrub lot this summer. And so when we were building it, we were talking about, I really wanted to do a flower display. So, do we put hanging baskets on it? Do we do some sort of something on the post? Like, what do we do? We even contemplated putting planters up at the top between the different beams and all sorts of different ideas. And none of it really sat well with us, right? Because you've got to think about how are you going to maintain it. You've got to think about, because this is an area where customers shop, you don't want plants to be in the way, containers to be in the way of people, kind of all of the things. So came up with a great solution. We're going to leave the pergola as it is. We are not going to put any kind of flowers on the pergola. What we are going to do is we are going to put flowers all along the fence here that kind of separates the parking lot from the shrub lot. So Jerry has got the first one installed. We are going to put these 55-inch hay racks on each panel of the fence. So we will have a total of 8 of these guys on the fence. So when you come to the nursery, you pull up, every single fence panel will have one of those hay racks. So what we're going to do today is go ahead and get them installed. We have begun the process because these hay racks are quite substantial, my friends. They are, like I said, 55 inches long. I think it was 12 inches deep. I'd have to look at all the specifications, put it there for you. Of course, where do we get these from? Kinsman Garden Company. So if you're interested in those, you can check out Kinsman. They have them. This is the same hay rack that I have at the house in the shade garden right outside of our kitchen window. Now, so Jenny gets these great ideas, right? So I got this great idea. We're going to put the hay racks here on one of the biggest ones possible because each of these panels they're 8-foot sections. And so the 55-inch was the largest one that they offer. You can get ones that are like component pieces where you can build them as big as you want. But I was like, you know what, let's just go with the 55-inch because we don't want to have a massive solid wall, but we want it to look substantial. So Jenny comes up with these great ideas, and then my sweet husband has to be the one to make sure they happen and they happen correctly. So we were going to install these on a Saturday because it was a little slow first thing in the morning. And he looked at me like I was absolutely had lost my ever-loving mind. And because these are huge hay racks, and when you put soil in them, plants in them, and they're watered, they're going to be heavy. So his concern was that the fence, this one panel, this one board would not be able over time to hold the weight of the hay rack. He was afraid maybe it would twist, God forbid, it should actually break off. So what he did yesterday for me was he came back and shored up the backside. So these are 2x6x8 boards. This is between each panel is post is 7 feet. So he cut off a foot of board, which Brenna is very excited about because that is her new chew toy this morning. And so he screwed these guys in. He was able to screw it into this board, and he was able to screw it into the post. So that way it just reinforces these panels. And because it is treated lumber, we're going to have to wait just a little bit, make sure it gets nice and dry, and then we will stain it. So right now, yes, you see the blonde wood against the stained fence. Don't worry, we are gonna stain it so it'll all blend in together, but you just have to wait for the treated lumber to dry out a bit before you do that. So this morning, he installed the first one, and he just went through because these bolts are huge. Let me show you one, because you can get them, so you can buy the hooks separately. So I get the whole kit together. So it's the hay rack and the liner all come together. And then I go ahead and order the hooks right from Kinsman because they're the right ones, and they come with these massive bolts. So when he went to go screw in the first time, he just went ahead and just went for it, and it cracked the wood just a little bit. So of course that's not what we want. So you can see right here where it cracked it. So he went to the house and got the drill with the drill bit so he can do a pilot hole. We'll let him go ahead and do the next one. And so he just did one as you were listening, and it did not crack it. So he has them marked so he knows where to put it. Obviously we want it centered, so he's doing a pilot hole. And then that way he can come back through and put it in. So you can see that this one did not crack the wood. So that is most excellent. He did say on the ones that the first one that he did, that he could put a screw through the top to kind of hold it together. Impact drill's loud. So what we're going to do is he actually has a hair appointment this morning. So we're going to get these all hung up, and then CeCe and I are going to work together and we're going to get them planted today. So we are going to use we're going to raid the greenhouse with all of the fall annuals, and we're just going to come up with fun planters. I have no clue what they're going to look like. We'll go into the greenhouse in just a little bit and look at the plants that we get to shop from. And so like I tell you people, if y'all don't come buy these plants at the nursery, they are fair game and I am going to use them. So that's what we're going to do. Create these together. And so we're going to show you how we put these boxes together, how we plant them, what the design is, and then I'm going to share with you what my plans are for the summer of 2026 for these guys. All right, my friends, CeCe and I, we got all of the hayracks are installed. We got them hung up. Jerry got all of the hooks on for us. Then we went up to the greenhouse and oh my gosh, it was a mind bender to figure out the design. So it's gonna be hard to explain it to you. You're gonna have to kind of see it. But basically we have two major different designs and we'll alternate them. But then each of those, within those two major designs, there's going to be a little bit of variation. So there's going to be 4 total different designs, and they will be balanced throughout each one. I know it's a lot, but we were working with what we have. So here we have the collection of all the plants, and then there's 2 more racks up there. So essentially in one design, this is one design here, and then we've got one design up there. So in 4 of the containers, everybody is going to have a Ms. America mustard in the center. Then on 2 of them, they will be flanked with the white cabbages, and then the other 2 will be flanked with the white kale. They're going to have the variegated ivy will be trailing out from underneath the Ms. America in the center. We have got some purple sage that we're going to be using in here as well as a filler. And then we have got a beautiful collection of pansies. So we're going to be using pansies in this one and just kind of mixing those really sweet, beautiful colors. And then we have trailing pansies as well. So the trailing pansies will go in. So these are the plants that will go in half of the hayracks. And then down here, we have the plants for the other half. So instead of Ms. America, we're going to be using the red, purple, feathered kale. So this will be in the center. So we're going to be using that. Then we have got some red boar kale that we're going to be using as a filler in those. We are going to mix a little bit. So we have got the traditional silver sage, and then we have got the variegated thyme that we're going to be using. So alternate, some containers will have the sage, some containers will have the thyme in there. We have got the violas that we're going to be using in here with the yellows, the purples, the blues, variegated colors on all of those. We will be using trailing pansies that are in that deep kind of purple color. So we've got those trailing pansies. And then the spiller that's going to go underneath the feathered kale is going to be the creeping Jenny. So what we're going to do, CeCe's already started, before we ever think about beginning to plant, we're going to lay out the plants on the ground underneath the hay racks. That way we don't get messed up, because we want them, when you're looking at it, to be balanced and even as far as how everything is planted and what the design is. So we're going to lay everything out first, make sure we have enough of the plants, and then we will go get all of our soil, our compost, all of that kind of stuff, biotone, and then we'll begin planting. But for right now, we're going to lay everything out and make sure that the design we came up with is really coming to fruition. CeCe and I got all the plants laid out, but we're still not quite exactly done. So this should show you like how our brains are thinking as far as the design. Now, obviously, if you look at the plants versus the container, my plants are spread out further than the container. We're just trying to get a general idea here, my friends, and then we're going to plant them. So basically, you can see, right, the difference of the containers. So, and the plant arrangements. Really fun, very excited to get these in. We are going to be jam packing these babies in there. Like, it is going to be a ton of plants. They are going to be instantly full. This is what I call the Disney containers, Disney gardening. So we plant it full immediately. We're not waiting for these babies to fill in. We're just going to go for it. Now, I did tell you at the very beginning, these are the hayracks from Kinsman Garden Company. So they're the hayrack planter, the European Classic Collection, and then on the back it says that they are the 55 inches long, 12 inches wide, and 12 inches deep. So there you go. Yeah. So what we're going to do is Brenna and I are going to go collect the soil. So we're going to go get some compost, some potting soil. We might use, I'll probably go ahead and grab like a bag or two of the Daddy Pete soil enhancer to top dress if there's going to be any visible soil, which there may not be because there's going to be so many plants in there. But if we need to top dress with the mulch, we're going to do that. And then of course biotone. So the biotone will go in there too. So we're going to go collect all of the soil supplies, come back down, probably go ahead and plant them. So the next time I meet you back here, they'll already be planted and we can go through and see the final products together. friends, I could not be more excited and happy and pleased with how these 8 hayracks turned out. Oh my goodness. They are stunning. Let me show you. Oh, I just makes my heart so happy and make such a huge impact. Not sure how the camera's gonna show it with all kind of the shadows and everything, so we're gonna do a little bit of an up close. Also, Jerry's gonna put up the drone at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. Okay, so basically there's a total of 8 boxes, right? 8 hay racks, and there are in total 4 different designs. Now, essentially there's 2 different designs, right? So you have the ones that I planted that have the red kale in it, and then you have next door is the one that CeCe did that has the mustard in it. And so the difference comes in, like with mine, is that everybody's got the red kale, and then on the end of 2 of them, we have sage. So we have sage and then the red boar kale, violas. So I have violas in mine, except for here, I've got the trailing pansies. So we have the wave, this is the cool wave purple, and then the cool wave raspberry. And then mine all have the creeping Jenny as the trailer in front. So we've got all of the spillers right here, right? So I have a mix of different violas in here. I think this is like lemon, something lemon, and then there's like lemon berry pie. So these are a little bit of a mix, right? So we have fun with that. So that's one design. And then there is on the very end down there, there is another one, hayrack planted exactly like this one, okay? So those 2 are on the opposite, the very end of the entire fence that are planted the exact same. So then let's come down to here so you can see the difference in this one. Okay, so then the other 2 that I did, they still have the red feather kale, they have the red boar in here, but we didn't have any more sage, so we went with the variegated thyme. And y'all, it smells so good. So the variegated thyme is on each of the corners, still have the creeping Jenny, still have the raspberry and the purple waves, and then we still have the violas in here. So then this one is planted exactly like the second one down there. So we're keeping them balanced. So when you look at the whole thing from a distance, they're all like, each panel is symmetrical in planting, because that way, that was the part of the problem is when CeCe and I were picking out plants, we had to have enough of certain things to repeat in other containers. So that's where a little bit of a problem came in, and the fact that they weren't planned. We were just shopping what was at the nursery here towards the end of the season. So there we go on that. Then let's go to CeCe's, because I honestly think like CeCe's right now are the absolute showiest. Like they are stunning, gorgeous. But it does prove a point. So CeCe's are instantly gorgeous, like unbelievable right now. Mine are going to take a little bit of time to fill in, because like that red boar kale, then it's going to take some time to fill in, but it'll get nice and good size to it. And then my violas tend to do better in the coldest parts of the months. So in like January, February, mine might actually kind of outshine CeCe's, because she has pansies in hers and they tend to kind of stop blooming in those cold months, where violas will keep on going. So let's look at CeCe's. So CeCe's, the things that are the exact same in hers is that she has the Ms. America mustard, and then she has the variegated ivy coming down from the bottom, and she also has some trailing pansies. So she has like a cream and then a blue, all right? So in this one, because we didn't have enough of all white cabbages or all white kales, we had to mix and match. So in this one, she's got the white kale. It's kind of like the counterpart to my red one. So she has the white one. So she has 2 of those, and then just chocked full of these unbelievable, gorgeous, stunning pansies. I mean, they are just beautiful. So all of those the light blues, the purples, the reds, the yellows, we've got variegated ones in here. So gorgeous. Now, so she has the, like I said, the white kales here, And then her other counterpart is the next to the last one down there. And then we decided, because this is the entrance to the pergola, so in these two, we didn't have enough of the white kale, so we used the cabbage. And in fact, we don't quite have enough of one or the other. So this is a pink one. Is that not gorgeous? And then next door, we have a pure white one. So then over here, she did the same thing. So the white is on the inside and then the pink is on the outside. Then, because we wanted to use, this is purple sage. Look at that. Can you see that color? So it has all those beautiful like purples and blue grays in there. Oh. And then of course, all of the pansies in here, just beautiful. Now, the thing is with CeCe's is that I'm not sure that the kales and the, or rather like the cabbages will make it all the way through the winter time. So we're just gonna kind of play with it and see. But y'all, when like, look, just gorgeous. So again, could not be happier with how everybody turned out. It makes a huge difference, and obviously I think you can see that everybody is dripping. So we were fortunate in the fact of that this panel set of 4, we have a hose link right over here, so that reached perfectly, so we could get these really deeply watered in on this side. And then the top 4, we have a hose link up there at the barn, so it reached and hit these guys. Thinking like moving forward, not too concerned about it for this winter, because when the sprinklers go off for the shrubs, it tends to hit this area. So we'll just watch it. I can almost guarantee though, when we hit the summer, we're gonna tie in to the irrigation and put drip irrigation in here, because we want these obviously to look gorgeous throughout the entire growing season. And with the heat, I don't know that the overhead sprinklers will be able to keep up with the containers. So when we transition out from these plantings to the spring summer plantings, we're probably going to go ahead and add that drip irrigation in there. But again, cannot be more happy with how everything turned out. You too can get these containers if you would like. Again, got them from Kinsman Garden Company. I will link the exact planters that we got from there. And yeah, happy shopping, my friends. All right, if you have found this fun and informative and inspirational, we would love it if you would like and subscribe, that we don't miss those 5 videos that we do each and every week. Stay tuned. Jerry's gonna put the drone up so you can see how everything is looking here towards the end of November. Y'all have a great day. See you in the next video. Bye, friends.